There's a silent financial mistake that keeps the middle class exactly where it is. It isn't a lack of effort, it isn't laziness, and it's definitely not a lack of intelligence. In fact, many of the hardest working and most disciplined people do everything right and still never get ahead. This mistake doesn't appear on spreadsheets, it's not taught in school, and it's rarely discussed honestly. Yet it drains money, time, and energy from millions of people every single year. Most of us grow up believing the path is simple. Study hard, get a good job, work diligently, save a little, and hopefully retire with some peace of mind. This script sounds logical. It sounds safe. It sounds responsible. The problem is that it was designed for a world that no longer exists. The mistake begins when we believe that our active income, our salaries, the ultimate solution. Trading our time for money becomes the center of our entire financial universe. The more you work, the more you earn. At least, that's how it seems. But there's a hard limit to how much time you can sell. A day only has 24 hours. Your body gets tired. Your mind burns out. Meanwhile, the financial system keeps running 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, with or without you. While the middle class focuses all its energy on increasing salaries, working overtime, and climbing the corporate ladder, something critical goes completely unnoticed. The money that comes in goes out at nearly the same speed. Think about it. Taxes, inflation, debt, emotional spending, and what we call lifestyle inflation. Every raise you get is followed by higher expenses. It's like trying to fill a bucket that has a hole in the bottom. You can pour water in faster and faster, but the bucket never gets full. The mistake isn't earning money. The mistake is never changing the role that money plays in your life. For most people, money exists for one of two purposes: to pay bills and to consume. For those who build wealth, money serves a completely different purpose. It works, it multiplies, and it buys back your time. The middle class is trained from a young age to seek immediate comfort: a nicer car, a bigger home, the newest phone, vacations that are paid for in installments. These things feel like rewards for all our hard work. In reality, they are creating long-term financial obligations that trap our future. Every payment you commit to is a piece of your future time that you have already sold. Meanwhile, those who understand the game of money delay gratification. Not because they enjoy suffering, but because they understand basic math. They understand compound interest. They understand opportunity cost. They understand that every single dollar consumed today is a dollar that cannot go to work and multiply tomorrow. Another critical factor here is the illusion of security. A stable job feels safe. A monthly paycheck feels predictable and reliable. But that security is incredibly fragile. It depends on decisions you don't control, on markets you can't influence, and on corporate structures that can change overnight without any warning. Yet, so many of us place our total trust in this single, vulnerable source of income. So, let's put it all together. The core financial mistake is a complete dependence on active income, combined with constant, escalating consumption. That is what keeps the cycle going. You work to pay bills, you pay bills to maintain a certain lifestyle, and you maintain that lifestyle to justify continuing to work so hard. It's a perfect, closed loop. Few people ever stop to question this because the system rewards conformity. Those who follow the script receive social approval. They're seen as responsible adults. Those who question it are often labeled as irresponsible, unrealistic dreamers. But here's the truth: wealth has never been built by following what the majority does. Another powerful, overlooked element is fear. The fear of investing. The fear of making mistakes with your money. The fear of loss. This fear keeps the middle class holding on to their cash, where it silently loses its value to inflation year after year, all while they believe they're being cautious. The cost of inaction is almost never calculated, yet it is enormous. Meanwhile, the truly wealthy understand that the real risk isn't investing. The real risk is relying on a single source of income. The real risk is not understanding how money actually works. The real risk is spending decades working hard without building any assets. And that brings us to the missing piece of the puzzle: assets. The middle class buys liabilities, believing they are assets. A home that's larger than necessary, a financed car, gadgets and objects that depreciate the moment you buy them. These things consume cash instead of generating it. It's simple. Assets put money in your pocket. Liabilities take money out of it. This fundamental mistake is reinforced by the total absence of real financial education. I'm not talking about the surface-level advice about saving 10% of your income. I'm talking about a deep understanding of capital allocation, risk-adjusted returns, time horizons, and human behavior. Because, in the end, your greatest financial enemy isn't the stock market. It's your own behavior. The middle class reacts emotionally to money. They buy when everything feels safe and the market is high. They sell in a panic when fear takes over and the market is low. They follow the headlines. They make short-term decisions based on noise. Those who understand the game behave in a way that seems almost boring. Consistency, patience, a clear strategy, and a long-term vision. There is also the mistake of treating investing as something separate from life, something to be done when there is money left over, but that leftover moment almost never arrives, does it? For wealth builders, investing comes before consumption. It is a non-negotiable priority, not an afterthought. You pay yourself first by putting money into assets. Here's another uncomfortable truth. Much of our effort is poorly directed. Working harder at your job doesn't always solve the problem. Working smarter, which means focusing on building systems that can function without your constant presence, is what changes the game. But that requires learning. It requires failing, and it requires breaking out of the autopilot mode we all fall into. The system isn't unfair by accident. It was designed to reward those who understand its invisible rules. There's no secret conspiracy. There is only information, asymmetry, and behavioral differences. While most people are chasing status and approval, a few are quietly building a structure for their freedom. And here is perhaps the hardest part to accept. No one is coming to save you financially. Not the government, not your employer, not your company's retirement plan. Waiting for a savior is part of the mistake itself. Breaking this cycle doesn't require an extraordinary income, at least not at the beginning. It requires a fundamental shift in your mindset. It requires seeing money as a tool, not as an emotional reward. It requires replacing a sense of urgency with a deep sense of patience. And it requires shifting your focus from consumption to construction. The middle class isn't trapped because of a lack of opportunity. It is trapped by a series of repeated decisions made over years and years, where each individual decision appears small and harmless. But together, they determine your financial destiny. Those who understand the game early on realize that getting rich isn't about one big, lucky break. It's about consistently avoiding the obvious mistakes long enough for time and compounding to work their magic in your favor. In the end, the financial mistake that keeps the middle class from building wealth isn't technical, it's behavioral. It is the belief that doing what everyone else does will somehow produce a different result for you. It won't. While some people spend their entire lives working just to sustain a lifestyle, others are building assets that will support them and their families for generations. The difference is not how much they earn, but what they do with what they earn. And so, the real question isn't whether the system is fair or unfair. The real question is whether you will keep playing the game without understanding the rules, or if you will finally decide to learn how it really works. Thanks for watching. If this video gave you a new perspective, consider subscribing for more content that challenges the way we think about money and success. See you in the next one.